Hey guys, welcome back to 𝐈𝐧𝐠𝐞𝐲, the cooking channel that's not so useless. In this video, we'll be making a finger food that'll always be a hit at a party, spring rolls. It's your stereotypical Chinese appetizer that you may steer clear of when ordering, but when you have the chance to make it at home, it's just a real treat. They're nice and golden, with a real crunchy exterior and a savoury interior. And in this video, we'll show you how to make both big and small spring rolls to suit your preference. So to make these spring rolls, you'll need pork mince, black fungus, light soy sauce, cooking wine, oyster sauce, chicken powder, water, sugar, salt, spring roll pastry, cabbage, vermicelli, onion, shiitake mushrooms, garlic, carrot, and potato starch. For the quantities, you'll need 350 grams of pork mince, 10 grams of black fungus, 30 grams of light soy sauce, 20 grams of cooking wine, 30 grams of oyster sauce, a quarter teaspoon of chicken powder, 6 tablespoons of water, 10 grams of sugar, 10 grams of salt, around 20 to 30 spring roll pastry sheets, and this depends on how big your filling is, 500 grams of cabbage, 50 grams of vermicelli, 1 onion, 8 shiitake mushrooms, 1 teaspoon of garlic mince, 100 grams of carrot, and 2 tablespoons of potato starch. To make spring rolls, you'll need to do 3 key things. Prep the ingredients, stir fry the filling, then roll them up and fry them. But before we begin, if you do enjoy this video, do consider subscribing, as it does help the channel out. To start off, you'll want to rehydrate your black fungus and vermicelli. So submerge them in cold water, and leave them aside for about half an hour or until soft. For the shiitake mushrooms, well, if you haven't already, you should watch our video on how to rehydrate dried shiitake mushrooms, such that you always have these ready on hand, and the video link is in the description below. For us, we can simply take these out of the freezer and thaw it out in the microwave. With the cabbage, slice into fine strips. Then cut these strips in half. If you're cutting cabbage with a real hard stem, then trim off and slice them separately. Then give the cabbage a quick rinse through 2 to 3 times. And let it drip dry. With the carrot, top and tail, then peel the skin off. And thinly slice the carrot at an angle to get some long thin slices. Then make sure you fan them out to make slicing strips easier. With the onion, top and tail, then cut in half and remove the outer skin. Now, when slicing an onion into thin strips, you do not want to start off with a vertical cut. Instead, start from an angle and slowly make your way around the circumference. Next, slice your mushrooms. Now back to our black fungus. After half an hour, give the fungus a quick wash 2 to 3 times. Then inspect the fungus for any hard stubs. And just peel them off or cut with a pair of scissors. Then slice into fine strips. With the vermicelli, drain, and then cut them into about finger-long pieces. And then finally, you'll want to mince some garlic, but we're going to use the leftovers from a previous video. Then after you've measured out the quantities for all the other ingredients, you're ready to stir fry. So we're going to stir fry our ingredients in 3 separate batches. And of course, when stir frying, the wok is always best. At your stove, turn the heat on high, and add in oil when hot. When the oil is hot, add in the pork mince, and constantly move and separate the mince. You want to keep cooking it until the pork mince is clearly separated. Then add in the minced garlic. and continue cooking until you can smell that garlic aroma. Then add in the wine down the sides of the rim, and after a minute of cooking, it's time to take the pork out. Now, we're not going to waste that porky goodness that's still in the wok, so add in some oil. And when hot, add in the onions and cook until golden. Then add in the carrots and cook until soft. Then, add the shiitake mushrooms, as well as the black fungus, and continue stir frying for a little over a minute, and then take it out. Now, after our second stir fry, the wok is charred and dirty, and we will want to wash it before continuing, so give it a good clean. And once again, when hot, add in some oil, and when the oil is hot, add in your cabbage, and fan it out such that as much of the cabbage is in contact with the wok surface. Then give it a quick toss, before adding a few sprinkles of salt, and continue stir frying until the cabbage is soft. Once soft, add back in the previous stir fries, and give it a quick toss. Then add in the vermicelli, salt, sugar, chicken powder, light soy sauce, and oyster sauce. And continue cooking until the vermicelli is cooked and everything is mixed well. And if you're unsure what indicates cooked vermicelli, the vermicelli will be a lot more translucent and softer to the touch. Then turn the heat off, and with 2 tablespoons of potato starch and 6 tablespoons of water, mix well together into a slurry. Add in a little bit of the slurry, then turn the heat back on high, and quickly mix the slurry evenly throughout the filling, before adding in more. And when the filling starts to stick together, you're done. Then bring the filling out of the wok and wait until it cools down. Before we start frying, you'll need to wrap some spring rolls, and to seal them shut, you'll need a glue. We used a flour water glue, using some plain flour mixed with small quantities of water, until it becomes this consistency. For our pastry sheets, we're using the standard 215mm by 215mm, and we'll be making big and small rolls. First, we're going to show you how to roll the bigger spring roll. Take out the pastry sheets, and peel a sheet off. Now, sometimes the sheets will curve at the edges, so you'll want to make sure that your sheet is curved away from your kitchen bench when you roll. Grab your filling and position it a bit below the middle line. Then bring the bottom corner over the filling and wrap it tightly towards the middle line. Then bring the sides in tightly to make an envelope shape. Then continue rolling, making sure your thumb and index finger both guide and maintain the spring roll shape. When your envelope shape turns into a triangle, apply some of that glue. And seal the envelope shut. Now, don't be discouraged if you can't do this in your first go. It will take some practice, and you have a lot of filling to practice with. Next, we'll show you how to roll the smaller ones. The smaller ones need less pastry, so cut the pastry in half diagonally, then chop off the 2 side corners. Add in your filling, then bring the 2 sides together. Tuck the bottom up, then roll and seal. And in the end, we ended up with about 7 big rolls and 25 smaller rolls. Now, time for some frying. Heat your oil up to 180 degrees Celsius, or 356 degrees Fahrenheit. Then add in your spring rolls. Now, we're not going to fry all of the spring rolls. That'd just be a waste. But the great thing about spring rolls is that you can store them in the freezer and fry them whenever you want. Just make sure you fry them frozen at 180 degrees Celsius for no longer than 5 minutes. Otherwise, they'll literally explode whilst frying. Back to our frying. Fry the big spring rolls for about 4 minutes, and the smaller ones for 3 minutes. And with that, your spring rolls are done. Now, the small spring rolls will appear much darker since they have less pastry, but they're actually crunchier than the bigger ones. And if we cut a cross section, who wouldn't want a bite of that? So guys, that was my family's recipe for spring rolls. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you ever get the chance to make this at home, be sure to tell us how it goes. And if you want to see any of our future videos, be sure to subscribe. See ya.